As we learned in our lecture video, The Radical Phase of the French Revolution, um, a committee was formed that literally undid a lot of the progress that they had made, um, citing that, the king was the one in charge, that the committee or assembly would vote on the laws and enact the laws, and the king would be the king in name only. In the film, this was shown pretty vividly, and it showed the anger of the people and how it was just one more thing in the radical phase of the French Revolution that kind of set the tone for how it ends. Um, Prof. J did an amazing job with these lecture videos, so I'm probably going to be talking about them a lot as the reading was a bit dry. And I don't know how to make it any more entertaining than that film. Um, the uh, the storming of Bastille in the film was exactly as it was described to us in our lecture videos. I wasn't surprised or caught off guard by one moment of that first 15 minutes of the film. Factually, it stacks up as far as what they were after. As we learned from our lecture videos and tech and reading, they were after gunpowder. Um, and they had none, and they knew where a bunch was at Bastille. Um, they were met by the commander, and he didn't want to give it up, as Prof. J taught us. Um, it doesn't really show this part in the movie. It kind of shows the aftermath of it. Um, but the the tone and the feeling were genuine, and you could tell these people were angry. They were tired of being classless citizens, or they weren't even considered citizens. They were tired of not being considered citizens in their own country, in their own cities. And um, when people get tired, and when people are hungry, and when people are poor, you're going to have, as rich people would probably describe them, problems. But in this case, we had a revolution. In this more radical phase, when the committee came and kind of undid everything that was done, it was like, oh, the monarchy is the only one true way. You can see in the film that this really angered people. And I know I'm kind of jumping backwards here, but it really angered people. And it's shown also that what Popkins talked about in his book about how the third estate wasn't exactly necessarily made up of you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. There were successful merchants and shopkeepers that could read and were a little wealthy, and they held sway with the third estate, and the third estate looked up to them, as we saw in the film. The glassmaker Jacques, he had a nickname. He held sway with the people. He um he helped keep them organized in a fashion that they would have just been radicals otherwise. And this is talked about in chapter one of Popkins' book, but it's also depicted very, very well in the film. And that theme of the classes keeps coming back up. It keeps coming back up throughout the film, as it has through our lectures and our reading. I found the film to be very accurate. As far as the Women's March to Versailles goes, the film stacks up quite high to that. You really get a sense of how mad they are from knowing what you know from what we learned from Prof. J in the liberal phase of the French Revolution, I believe. Um, you know that they wanted the king in Paris so he could be close to the people, not isolated in Versailles, shoved up his own aristocracy so far that he has no idea what's even going on with his own people or his own country or how they feel or anything like that. And in the film, it really shows the nitty gritty of like them going there. And they even sing like this little song, which is actually kind of funny in the film about how like he uh full he immediately abdicated to them and was just like, yeah, okay, I'll go. And it really wasn't like that. They wanted, better laws. They wanted food. They weren't asking for the world here. They were asking for their king to come to Paris and be close to his people, and so that he could understand their plight and understand what they were going through. And as we learn that in the liberal phase of the French Revolution lecture videos, it's depicted very, very, very well in this film. And even when Louis is leaving Versailles in the film, you can see he's like forlorn. He does not want to go. He enjoys being rich. He enjoys being alone and eating foie gras or whatever, is not sawdust made bread. So he doesn't want to go to Paris. He's kind of afraid, but I think he was the vibe I got from the film is he was more afraid of what would happen if he didn't. But we all know that how that played out. The determination and the grit that was depicted in this film stacks up so well with the historical facts that we learned from our lecture videos. In this video, I am talking about Popkin's book. What's the name of it? Probably. Yeah, in chapter one of Popkin's book, we read, and this really sets the tone. That's what I'm referring to when I say Popkin's book. I'm referring to chapter one of the origins of the French Revolution, written by Popkins. When I refer to the film, I'm referring to the film One Nation, One King that we watched as our film analysis study. And the lecture videos I'm referring are from section two, the liberal and radical phases of the French Revolution. I hope that this made sense and it was fluent. Yeah, and I really could get into a lot more, but this video would be like 45 minutes long, and I don't think you want that. So, just those two events, Bastille and the Women's March of Versailles, from what we've learned from Prof. J, and from what we've learned from all of our source material and readings, stacks up very well. And it was a great movie, and it left me feeling like I had been in the French Revolution. It was overwhelming and beautiful, and it was a great watch and accompanied with the knowledge that we've gotten from our lecture videos. Um, and from Popkins, it was very influential.